Welcome back. Spring and summer storms can sometimes pack a punch. Meteorologist Jackson Chastain takes a deeper look in downbursts this week in Weatherwise.
Meteorologist Jackson Chastain here with the latest edition of Weatherwise. Today we talk downbursts. You might not have heard that term before, but certainly it's something that you've probably at least seen in videos or possibly dealt with yourself. Something where you get really heavy rains, really heavy winds, seemingly out of nowhere. And I can tell you right about that process right now. It all begins when you have a thunderstorm. When you have a thunderstorm, you got a strong updraft. That strong updraft is lofting warm air into the cloud. It's also bringing moisture into the cloud. As that storm develops, you get heavy raindrops, you get hail, you get things that want to come down because gravity is pulling it down. That updraft has helped keeping that stuff aloft. But as you get a stronger cold pool, as you get a weaker updraft, you get that cold air buildup in the middle of the storm. All this hail and rain that's accumulating is still being held up, but as that updraft gets weaker and weaker, it's becoming less and less able to support all this rain and all this hail, and eventually that updraft is going to weaken enough that it just all falls out onto the ground, and you get something called a downburst, which you get all this air that surges downward and spreads out when it hits the ground. And that's when you get very, very strong winds, you get very, very heavy rain, and that all happens in a period of maybe just a few seconds to a minute. That can start with seemingly no warning sometimes. And you know, it can be a very deadly event, almost perhaps as deadly as a tornado sometimes these downbursts can be. So there's actually two different types of downbursts that you can classify, and one of them is a microburst. If it's less than 2.5 miles wide in diameter, you call it a microburst. If it's greater than that, if you have a much larger area affected by it, we call it a macroburst. Now the effects are pretty much the same, except that the scale is different for both of these different types of downbursts. And again, you get very, very strong winds moving on their way down, pushing down onto the ground. You can get very, very strong straight line winds coming out of these downbursts. It can also affect air travel as well, and airports are very, very conscious of this as you get planes moving in. If you ever get thunderstorms around in the airport, that can cause significant weather delays, because if you get a downburst, what it will do is it'll actually push the back of the plane down. It'll cause the plane to actually move down and lose a lot of altitude in a very, very short amount of time. And very sadly and unfortunately, there's been some very, very tough air accidents that have happened because of downbursts and microbursts and macrobursts and the like. So in addition to just affecting everything on the ground, it can affect air travel as well by pushing those planes down, and there's a lot of work that's done to make sure that everybody is safe and stays away from thunderstorms, especially when near airports. Now, that's all I have for the latest edition of Weatherwise. As always, if you have questions, feel free to bring them to Facebook, to Twitter, to our email. I'm always happy to take those questions, but otherwise, y'all have a great one.
Weatherwise is brought to you by Fort County Electric Power Association.